An auto driver teaches us a lesson in gratitude.
Well, good afternoon. I have been dealing with let me call it the social sector for many years, and where we help the poor, we help the needy. But there is this one occasion which stood for me above us all, which is what I'm going to tell you about. I happened to hail an auto, a random one on the road because I had to get home. And as we were traveling, he hadn't put the meter down. So I said, I will only come if you put the meter on. So he said, whatever you say, ma'am, you give me whatever you want. Anyway, he put the meter on. We traveled all the way here to my house. And when we reached home, I asked him, how much was it? And he said, 180 rupees. I didn't have that change with me, so I gave him 200 and said, thank you very much. As I was getting out of the auto, he showed me a sheet of paper. I said, madam, you want to have a look at this? I said, oh God, what is this now? So anyway, I looked at it and it was, he says, this is my son's school fees. I have to pay this in the next 3 or 4 days. If you can help me, I'll be very grateful. So the first thought came to mind. I've done this many times before. I never saw the end of the money. So I said, no. I don't know the school or anything. Anyway, no. And I walked away. Having taken a few steps, I suddenly felt in my mind, I said, what if I did give the money? And if he did take away the money? So I came back and hailed him back, and he came, and I gave him this amount of what he had asked for. And forgot all about it. I knew I'd never see the end of that, and that was it. Now, 4 days afterwards, while I was in the house with some visitors, there was this call from the security at the gate. I said, ma'am, there's an auto man who wants to see you. I had forgotten this incident. So I said, no, I don't know any auto man. He says, no, he has got a letter for you. I said, no, just take it from me. I was very rude. In fact, because I didn't know who he was. So I told the man, auto man, just leave it with the security and that's it. Later the security brought the letter to me. It was in an envelope which says, Usha madam, thank you for your money. I paid my son's fees and here is the receipt. And so what really touched me then was the fact that he had come back after 3 or 4 days with the receipt from the school to say that he'd actually paid for this son's education. And unlike what I thought, hadn't wasted his money, that was really a high moment in my life.
True giving and true receiving are such beautiful things. And today, we are receiving a beautiful gift, a lesson in gratitude from an auto driver. For he did not just take the money from my aunt, but he came back a few days later, making an effort to come back to her house, making an effort to try and get through to her, to talk to the security guards who can be very brusque with those who are just suppliers. And he came back to tell my aunt, thank you for what you've given me. And you would be gladdened to know that what you have given me has not just been frittered away, but was used well, used for a higher purpose. My aunt and uncle, over the last many decades, have helped hundreds of thousands. They supported families devastated by the tsunami. supported the sick, gave women education and professions, helped people get the power they needed to revive their livelihood. So why, after so many years of giving, was this particular incident so important to my aunt? And I can only guess, but it is because this auto driver took what they had to give with such grace and with such dignity. Now, today, most spiritualists will say pride is bad. But what stands out in the auto driver's example is that he was turning around and saying, I thank you for giving. And you would be glad to know that I'm not a beggar. I'm not throwing your money away. I'm taking it, your gift, and making it grow. I have my dignity. And so, because I have my dignity, I accept your gift. And because I accept your gift with true gratitude, the giver is ennobled. And yes, my aunt, who has been giving for hundreds of thousands of people, was deeply touched. One of the hardest things in giving is to give generously. To give in such a way that the person who the gift is being given to is not turned into somebody lesser, is not crushed, is not squashed. The act of giving to my aunt should not be a mere fattening of the ego, no crushing of someone else's ego, not turning someone into a perpetual victim. But while my aunt gives, the act of giving is not saying, oh, it doesn't matter, anything goes. My aunt demanded the auto driver put on the meter. People sometimes expect a tip, expect something extra, and not content just with what they've earned. And by converse, my aunt could have just been happy with the extra she gave the auto driver. And yes, she did tell him when he asked for more, no, that I can't look at. Because clearly she didn't know the person, didn't know if he'd use the money or use it well. And that leads us to the next thing, that while we talk about giving and giving generously and giving without a thought, we do need to think. And giving does take a cost. And giving does say, should I or should I not? Will it help or will it not help? Do I do it here? Do I not do it here? My aunt, when relating this incident, was extremely bothered by one thing, and that was, would people think she was boasting? Was she, in the act of giving, doing the worst thing possible, just fattening her ego? And so when she related the incident, she was very unsparing on herself. She revealed how difficult it was, how she hesitated, how she wondered if she was just throwing money away. And she also related how much she had to fight inwardly to fish into her pocket and hand out a few thousands. Yes, the same person who, when she was running her own social service organization, has dispersed much, much more, had to struggle in her mind. And so when we talk about grace, we must also remember that grace and struggle are tangoing partners. There is a truth that came to me a while ago, and it says, we are all beggars till we realize we are beggars. And you and I may tell ourselves, we are not beggars. We do not have to beg someone for our children's fees. But the truth of the matter is that every breath that comes to us is a gift from the trees, from nature. The ground beneath our feet, the stability we take for granted, is a gift from the planet, whirling across space. We take sometimes the social stability that we enjoy in this part of the world for granted, forgetting that in so many, many parts of the world, terrible injustice and wars are occurring. Because the auto driver's heart is in the right place, the streets of our city, our cities, are in the right place. And because our cities are in the right place, the road ahead through a difficult future can be much brighter and much surer. Thank you for watching this video, sharing this video, and growing with God.